So, Netivot Shalom Sefer Bereshit Parashat Vayeshev, and the topic is later on in the parasha. The holy brothers are plotting, right, conspiracy, trying to kill their own brother. But eventually, they sold him to be a slave, and he ended up. Basically, I think he had like at least 3 hands that were selling him from one to another, and the first convoy to the second, and then to the third one, and then to the Egyptians. So he ended up at the house of Putifar, Sarah Tabachim, right? And Tabachim, Khamim said it's not a Tabach is a cook, a chef, but he was not a chef. He was Tabach is also a butcher, one the main executor. Litvoach, it's also to massacre, kill. So ויהי Hashem et Yosef, ויהי איש מצליח. So Hashem was with Yosef. Yosef was a successful man. וירא אדוניו כי השם איתו, וכל אשר הוא עושה, right? וכל אשר הוא עשה, השם מצליח בדוד. Anything that Yosef doing, his master see that he's succeeding, he have lots of success. And Rashi, כי השם איתו, שם שמיים שגור בפיו. The master asked him to bring him a cup of coffee. He said, בעזרת השם, I'll bring you a cup of coffee. Do this, בעזרת השם. So every time he was mentioning Hashem. And the Midrash said, שהיה מלחש ונכנס, מלחש ויוצא. It was like whispering and going out, whispering and coming back. Which was, he kept repeating, תמיד שיוויתי השם לנגדי תמיד. I imagine Hashem in front of me always. אמר לו אדוניו מזוג רותחים, והנה רותחים. So he's holding the cup, like I'm holding. And his master said, pour me hot water. He pour, and it's hot water. Pour me cold water. Same glass, same liquid. He pour, cold. Coke with Johnny Walker. And he said, וחשב אדוניו, כי מעשה כשפים הוא זה. It's a witchcraft. אמר לו, right? תבן אתה מכניס לפעמים, like, you bringing straw to the place of straw, like you bringing witchcraft to Egypt. We are the source of witchcraft. What are you doing? Until he saw the Shechina standing on Yosef, right, like covering, right? So first, how is it possible that a guy have the zchut to see the Shechina? Even a Jew, regular person, right? Not always have, or always do not have the merit or the zchut to see the Shechina, right? So who? How is it possible, right? מפרש הרמב"ן, to the honor of the tzaddik, שלכבוד הצדיק, יראו לו את השכינה. Because of the honor of Yosef, they show him. So to make sure that he will understand, it's not witchcraft. He said whether if it was appeared to him during daytime, maybe in a dream, maybe in a trance, whatever. Because of the merit of Yosef, and then he was eventually acknowledged to see that the success, the big success of Yosef is because Hashem is with him the whole time. והיינו, וזו מתם הדרגתו של יוסף, that was the Yosef level, שהיה תמיד דבוק בהשם לעולם, he was cleaving always to Hashem, and never distracted his mind from Hashem. Every time, בעזרת השם, בעזרת השם, בעזרת השם, בעזרת השם, and he was a successful man, איש מצליח, כי Hashem is with him. As bring from the יסוד העבודה, in the name of the מורה נבוכים from the Rambam, שמי שדבוק בהשם יתברך, אין שורים עליו דברים, right? We're learning it many times. The one who cleave to Hashem, judgment are not applicable to him. They are not about going to harm him. And anything that he will do, Hashem will give him the success because he's with Hashem. But only when he stops his cleaving to Hashem, then Hashem is off the game. Hashem remove his protection. אז מסיר הקדוש ברוך הוא השגחתו ממנו, ואין השם איתו. שבהסב מחשבתו מהשם, when he distracted his mind from Hashem, as הוא נבדל, he separated himself from Hashem, then Hashem separate with him, right? There is a simple rule. There is a nice Israeli song. One of the line over there says, and we take it from, I think the source is the Gemara. I said, "Ta'azvenu yom, ya'azveka yomayim." This is from the author. "Ta'azvenu yom, you will leave Hashem for 1 day. He will leave you for 2 days." So if he is distracted, he's removing his mind from Hashem, then he's mezuman. right? What is mezuman when we do mezuman? Mezuman is something that is available. And he said, now he's available, chas v'chalila, lechol ra, to every bad thing that could possibly find him, like, you know, the Murphy law. Something can go wrong, it will go wrong. So if somebody removing his mind from Hashem, something bad will happen to him, chas v'chalila. וכותב עוד שהחכמים והחסידים, so the wise people and the Hasidim were very careful לקיים שיוויתי השם נגיד תמיד, always to think. We can even imagine the letter of Yud Ke Vav Ke like in our forehead, but in a mirror, like in opposite, so we can see it. To imagine. And they were very careful to do that, never to remove their thought from Hashem. And all the bad things that actually happened to the Chachamim and the Nevi'im, right, to the prophets, was only when they stopped. I mean, very difficult to understand how they stopped to cleave to Hashem, but this is what he's saying here. And therefore, that was the level of Yosef and the level of his Kedusha and purity, because he was cleaving to Hashem. And therefore, anything that he was doing, Hashem was giving him the success. And the same thing, right? It says, cleaving to Hashem is also depending on the level of Kedusha. Right? And we learned that Kedusha, one of the explanations of Kedusha is holy. Right? Something that is holy, like mystical thing, thinking. But another explanation in the Hebrew for Kedusha, Kadosh, is Nivdal, separated. Separated. So Yosef was separated from the nonsense, right? And even when he was dealing the Inyanim Agashmim, the Chol HaTzarchim HaGufanim, and all the things that the body needs, he never distracted his mind from Hashem. And therefore, he's like cleaving to Hashem. So it doesn't mean that we have to be dressed with a talit and be locked ourselves somewhere and thinking and separated. No. But in the mind, to be separated. To cleaving to Hashem. To be us and Hashem together. And he said it's not the same thing with somebody that does not behave in Gedusha in the Inyanim HaGashmim. Running over people and killing people, not literally in business. And then in shul, he's coming to Hashem. It's very difficult to do this separation. So say, but he's doing that the whole time, then he will be cleaving to Hashem, he will be succeed. Right? אמנם מדרגה זו גבוהה מאוד, so said, indeed, yes, this level is very high. And they said it's far away from a Jew to achieve such kind of a level that he was cleaving to Hashem always, constantly, and never distracted his mind. But he said, but still there is a lower level, which is very close to us, that we can fulfill that for each and every one. And it is the same as the Rav HaKadosh, Mikal Esrechoto Agenu, that he said on Ma'amar Chazal, he explained, when I said, it says in Masechet Chulin, Yodi'a tzaro larabim, v'rabim v'kshim alav rachamim. If somebody chas v'chalila have an issue, he should tell the tsar, the sorrow that is suffering to the rabbim, to the people, and many people will ask mercy. מבקשים עליו רחמים, mercy on him. He says, שצריך לומר, רבים מבקשו עליו רחמים, מבקשים עליו, right? אלא העניין ויודע צערו לרבים, but the main thing is that to explain, to tell the people is sorrow, is agony. And that's the main thing, because you have people to tell. So כאשר יהודי דבוק לחברותה, when you have a חברותה, a congregation, a group of people, a חבורה, whatever you want to call it, of ירא השם, that itself bring mercy on him. Because why he's suffering? Because you have the judgment coming on him. Why? Because probably he distracted his mind from Hashem. But when he's cleaving to the people, to the congregation, then it must be that at least one among the other ones is actually cleaving to Hashem. And he is actually sweetening the judgment for the entire tzibur, for the congregation, that they are cleaving to each other. So people cleaving to each other, and one person is enough that he's pulled them off. And we learn it so many times, right? Like, just think about it, like Sdom, for example. Right? Sdom. And the Gemara Masechet Megillah, for example, they're talking about what's the definition between a village, a kfar, and a city. Right? Put aside a world city. This is a different topic. But what's the definition between a city in a village. So you might think, oh, villages, I don't know, 200 people living in a village, like in a small place. In a city, oh, you need to have thousands of people, or maybe even hundreds of thousands, or maybe millions of people. The Gemara answer a very simple answer. He said, city is a place when you have asara batlanim. Batlan in Hebrew, it's somebody that is like today in the modern Hebrew is bump, somebody that doesn't work, doesn't do anything, like it's a, nebech. But Batlan in the time of the Gemara is somebody really that is batel me'avodah, that he doesn't work, he's dismissed from work. So if in that city in that place they have 10 people that are batlanim, which mean all day they're in shul, they're learning Torah, they daven, they're praying, everything. These are 10 batlanim. It could be a city of 10 million people. If they don't have a minyan of Jews learning over there, it's considered to be a village. So you can see also from Sdom, when Abraham started the Middle East bargaining, right, 50, 45, 30, if there were 10 people, then the entire city will be saved because of them. And everybody will look at them and they say, oh, you bum, you don't work, you don't do anything, you parasite. You're taking money, we pay tax, I work, and you do nothing, and you're getting money for free. Go to work. And they don't even understand that because of the 10 people, everybody's saved. So he said, this is the same thing with us, that we don't have to go to Sdom. A congregation, at least somebody is with Hashem, and it will help the others. It will help, that by default. And then the Rachamim mitbakshim alav me'elem. From the strength of the tzibur, of the congregation, you have the mercy and the chasadim. And that's still a big thing with the Hasidim. That's why they are connecting themselves to the Rav. With every tiny little thing. They want to cleave to the Rav because it's very difficult to cleave to Hashem because Hashem is fire. But the Rabbanim, the Gedolim, we still can cleave to them. And he returns again to Shabbos, right? He said, "V'chen hu meyuchad b'Shabbat Kodesh, Moshe pirishu rabotenu hakadoshim," right? They explain from Ma'amar Chazal, Knesset Israel ben Zubich, right? Each day have a mate. Sunday have Monday, Tuesday Wednesday, then Thursday have Friday, and then Shabbat said, I'm alone. Everybody already have a mate. And Hashem said, Knesset Israel, the congregation, the gathering of Israel, he will be your mate, right? All of us together. When we are congregating, when they're cleaving to each other, we are the mate of Shabbat. And this is the main thing, because the main essence of Shabbat, it's cleaving to Hashem, as it says, right? We're repeating it in the Kiddushim. Beni u'bnei Israel oti leolam, right? It's a sign, it's a mark between me and Hashem, us and Hashem, right? But here we are one. But because we became a congregation, we become united. שיהודי יהיה דבוק בהשם יתברך, וכאשר יהודי מפסיק מדבוקתו, right? So when a Jew is not keeping Shabbos, חס וחלילה, or distracted his mind from Shabbos, then it is like making a hole, right, in Shabbos. And it says in the Sfarim HaKadoshim, על הפסוק, right, מחללי אמות יומת, somebody that makes a hole, a vacuum, punching a hole in Shabbat Kodesh, then he should die. That's the transgress the mitzvot. And therefore, the only advice for him to be really safe is Knesset Israel, gathering of Israel, that he was cleaving to the tzibur. Maran Admor Babet Avraham Yitzchak Tonenu Katav, he wrote in a letter, right, or in one of his books, שבכדי לשבת עם יהודים יחד בליל שבת קודש, צריך מסירות נפש. That you did מסירות נפש, you need, sometimes this is annoying you, sometimes the other one is annoying you, whatever, but still we need to sit together. היינו לפי שעיקר השבת היא שיהודי יהיה דבוק בהשם יתברך, right? That the Jew should be cleaving to Hashem. And that's very difficult. But by being together with the tzibur, then we are together. And then we are with Hashem. And then he will bring himself, Mamshich, withdraw himself, that devekut and the chasadim and everything of Hashem. And the topic that we started was V'hi Yosef Matzliach, right? Ish Matzliach. 3 times the Torah is mentioned over there in the Psukim, V'yashem ish Matzliach, right? When he was with the Putifar, when he was in jail, when he was with Paro. And the reason why he was so Matzliach, because he was never distracted himself from his mind from Hashem. He was always saying, Bezrat Hashem. Even when Paro rushed him out from the pit, he went to the barber, he got new clothing, everything, and Paro said, oh, I hear that a man like you can resolve the dream. He said, me? No. Hashem will be able to resolve the dream, always with Hashem, right? Always with Hashem. So בעזרת Hashem, we should be always with Hashem. Shabbat Shalom and